2020 has been a weird year, and without stating the obvious, issues with supply chain and manufacturing have delayed the launch of the rumored iPhone 12 and 12 Pro lines. And with that said, as we sit in this sort of limbo waiting for a new iPhone that won't be coming out probably in like early September, some of us have phones that are either on their last leg, they're old, or they're dead or dying or cracked, and some people need a new phone right now. And the question is, if that's the case, which of Apple's new offerings should you consider right now, if at all? And in this video, I'm going to sort of talk about my thoughts about the current lineup as it sits right now as we continue to wait for the new iPhones to come out. But before we continue here, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like, comment, and of course, click the bell icon if you're subscribed and you haven't already. So we're going to go low to high in price, and first we're going to start off by talking about the iPhone SE, which was just updated this year in March. And that's honestly the whole perspective or mindset I have about this device. It took Apple 4 years to make a brand new iPhone SE. So I think whether you buy it now, if you bought it in March, or if you're going to buy it next year, it doesn't really matter so much because they plan on keeping this phone the exact way it is for, a considerable amount of time. They might discontinue it within a year or two or something if sales are poor, but regardless, this phone is going to be in its current iteration probably until 2024 if the pattern continues, 2016 to 2020 and then 4 years after that here. And to reiterate a few things about this phone if you don't know about it already, it has the current gen A13 processor, the same one found in the way more expensive iPhone 11 Pro line. It also has a great single lens and sensor setup, very similar to the iPhone 11 in performance here. It has decent battery life, a pretty premium build, I would say mediocre display, but yeah, it is a fantastic phone for the price, I think. So all in all, I would say it's still a good buy now. It'll be a good buy in 2 weeks, 2 months, and probably into the next 2 years because once again, Apple is not going to change this anytime soon. Next up, let's talk iPhone XR, and this is absolutely an iPhone XR, nothing suspicious happening here. Anyway, Apple continues to sell this for $599 on the Apple Store. It has an A12 processor, a 6.1-inch LCD IPS display. It's very similar to the iPhone 11 actually, minus a couple features here, but it continues to sell very well. It's been a very high-performing product in terms of, Apple's sales and whatever, and they might continue to sell it after, the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro come out. One thing to consider, though, is that this phone might be replaced with the iPhone 11, which is a tad bit better with an A13 processor and an ultra-wide and a couple other features here and there. But yeah, it still remains an excellent phone. I was talking about this phone with my friend Isaac, you know him as Canoopsy, and he was saying, yeah, all my friends are buying the iPhone XR, and I would have to agree. I see these phones everywhere. I know so many people who own this. And like I said in the intro, if your phone is on its last leg or it's just totally toast or you need a new phone desperately, then buy this phone, save $100. You'll get a decently sized display, a great processor, longevity, great camera, great battery life, etc., etc. I think it's still a great buy. And bumping things up by $100, now let's talk about the iPhone 11. My XR magically disappeared. It had to go. I don't know where it went, but anyway, this phone is a little bit iffy right now because while it continues to be a fantastic handset, it is in sort of a weird position because the iPhone 12, which is going to replace the iPhone 11, the 12 and the rumored 12 Max apparently. I'm not a speculation type channel, but I've done my research recently. It's going to be a big jump. I think an even bigger jump compared to like the 11 Pro to the 12 Pro. The 12, which is going to be priced similarly, apparently is going to be a lot better in terms of design. It's going to be, of course, more like the iPhone 5. And then on the front, we might get OLED displays with the 12 and the 12 Max, which is, a lot better, higher resolution as well. So that is something to consider, which is why I honestly wouldn't recommend dropping $700 on a phone that is going to be, I wouldn't say made obsolete, but it's going to look a lot worse compared to the 12 and the 12 Max. Also, the 12 and the 12 Max are rumored to come in 2 different, screen sizes apparently, duh. That's like the sort of naming scheme. The 12 is going to be like 5.4 inches maybe. The Max is going to be, I think, 6.2 or 6.5 inches. So if you want more variation in size, if you want a smaller phone or a bigger phone, keep that in mind here. This only comes in one form factor, 6.1 inches, but again, it has the A13, it has an ultra-wide camera. It is a great handset. And if you have this right now, honestly, I think a lot of you won't upgrade to a 12, even though it will be substantially better. But like I said, if you're going to spend money, if you want this phone, like the next best thing to the Pro, iPhone, I'd wait it out, or I'd buy a used one right now, or I'd buy the XR, and if it really bugs you, you can see if the 12 is worth getting, and then you can sell the XR and go to all the trouble. But yeah, right now, I'd honestly hold off on this, even though it is a fantastic phone nonetheless. And finally, let's talk about the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max. This has been my favorite iPhone to date. And that sounds stupid because, of course, it's the best iPhone that exists right now. But really, I mean, the battery life, the camera, the display, everything about this phone, of course, it's not perfect, but everything about it is just very refined and very high performing. I have enjoyed having this in my pocket, and I think it's worth the money that you pay for it, for what you're getting. I have used the camera setup to shoot videos and thumbnails. Just, I get a lot of utility and enjoyment out of this phone. And once again, like I said, I think the jump from this to the 12 Pro is going to be a bit smaller than that of, the jump from the 11 to the 12 and the 12 Max. Which is why, again, if you need this phone or a new phone to replace your, your broken one or an older one, I wouldn't say I'd recommend to get this right now, but if you did, I don't think it would be the end of the world. Of course, you could buy it for a more discounted price once the new one comes out, but I don't think Apple's going to be selling this alongside the 12 Pros. So if you can pick it up pre-owned or something, or with some deal, like some sponsored deal, like, oh, join our carrier and we'll give you $300 off an iPhone. I don't know if that's happening right now, but if you can do that, I would, because, once again, it is a fantastic piece of hardware, and it's going to be competitive even compared to the 12 Pro, I think, despite the numerous changes coming with that, the better design, possibly 120 hertz, a better camera. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this phone, and if you really want it right now, it wouldn't be exactly smart to buy it, but it wouldn't be, once again, the end of the world. But I would say when it comes to all of these phones, if you need a new phone right now or a newer phone, I'd honestly opt for pre-owned. You can go on Swappa, you can go on eBay. Especially since these phones are newer, their batteries are not going to be totally degraded. They're probably going to be in decent-ish condition. So if you need a newer phone right now, I would honestly go pre-owned if you want to be smarter and save some money. It's kind of like buying a new car or a newer car. These phones will be depreciated a bit. And if you are willing to stick it out a little more, you could wait until these phones depreciate even more once the new ones come out. But yeah, like I said, to wrap things up here, I would say the iPhone SE, you could buy it right now, no regrets. The iPhone XR, you could buy as well, because it's going to be maybe continue to be sold, or at least it's going to be still a great phone for right now in its last gen hardware anyway. The iPhone 11, I just wouldn't touch at this moment if you are very tech savvy and you care about, an OLED display. And the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max, if you really want it, you can get it. Of course, you can always sell it afterward, but you're going to lose some money. But yeah, it's still a okay phone to get right now, and that's, sort of my thoughts on the current iPhone lineup with regard to the late release date with the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, because of all the wonderful things happening in 2020. That was a long sentence, but anyway, I'm gonna now go to the outro, I guess. And that about wraps things up here. I hope this video helped you out. It's good to be back. I've had a couple days to sort of, figure out what I'm doing in the fall and getting, school in order and everything. I am doing better myself, and I'm getting myself back on track and more organized, so expect some content, more content coming soon. I'm working on a setup video that I'm really excited about. I don't even care how the video performs. I just want to show you what I've been doing. It's pretty interesting for, my school Zoom life and also gaming, so that's the 2 hints that I'll give you for right now. I'd appreciate it if you leave a like, comment, of course, if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.